Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is another NBA reaction, and this one is from the OKC versus Rockets game, full game one highlights from yesterday. And yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. Obviously, with Westbrook out, people are saying that there's a lot more people going with the Thunder for this one. I'm still not too sure. I think this is a very close game or close series. Whoever's injured or not really. And yeah, I'm not too sure how this ended because I watched the Pacers game. I was watching that like in my own time, and then when this came on, I just passed out basically. I watched the first few minutes, and then yeah, I just passed out. But I am intrigued to see how this ended because I know this is a really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of interesting games in playoffs because that's where the best teams are. But this one is up there as one of the ones that I'm really intrigued to see how it sort of ends because there's a lot of players on the show today. There's a lot of top class players who might just perform out of their skin and carry their own team. But yeah, without Westbrook, maybe they'll struggle. I still predicted the Rockets to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder do. But let's check this out and see how this ended.
It's actually the first time that they have faced each other since Houston made that big trade shipping Clint Capella out of town. As Danilo Gallinari gets the Thunder on the... Here he comes, probing the defense. Gallinari is there. Shot clock down to 3. Harden pulls the trigger and hits. Set an NBA record for made threes and attempted threes each of the last 3 years. And they have picked up where they left off.
Adams is such a friendly giant, man.
Paint at 15
he's so
a game,
strong.
so he's their pace and their attack on the rim.
Harden has to fire the 3 and he beats the clock.
Yeah, Harden's turning up.
Restricted area, the best
have a
in the
massive
league.
chance.
He blocks shots. He runs the floor. He's done a very good job.
Dennis Schroeder. Jeff Green fakes the 3.
Handling.
Puts it on the deck. A little bit of contact and he hits. Rebecca, great point. And everyone, of course, keeping their fingers crossed, Stan, that there will be no positive tests as Eric Gordon taking on contact. Noel again. Oklahoma City coughs it up there with Schroeder in the paint. Yeah, there are some rumors that the league may try to condense the playoff schedule once they get past the first round. To back-to-back.
Condense the playoff schedule. Does that mean they'll play less games, or does that mean they will play games a lot quicker, day after day? I'm guessing condense means make it shorter. I think that's the case.
Performances. Here comes Rivers breaking down the defense, going right
also
to the rack.
Put things closer together.
Nicely set up by Paul. Long rebound, Gordon. Rockets want to push
Look
the
at
pace.
Speed.
Gordon goes right to the rack.
Oh my jeez.
To get a better pace
rapid.
offensively.
Here comes Paul inside, and they will count the back.
That's a great play by the young guy, Darius Bazley. Drive it hard to the middle, stay on the floor, pivot, and make a great...
This is Gilgeous-Alexander. Thought about the step back, now to Gallo.
Rocket
Shot clock down to 3, puts it on the deck, guarded tightly, fires long 2, and hits. The sweet stroke of Gallinari. And he brings Oklahoma City within a dozen. Quick trigger 3 by Gordon.
You see them trying
They're
to just
doing well,
isolate
bro.
it. Houston loading up their defense, ready to come to help.
Harden again breaking him down.
Ball.
Shot
Houston does
5.
a lot of that too, Spiro, but you can do that if you have a guy as great as James Harden.
Tucker from deep. Largest lead for Houston. Timeout Thunder.
But this is their best
my
lineup.
God.
This is the best 5-man lineup in the NBA that the Oklahoma City Thunder have on the floor right now.
Fans have to be feeling pretty good about what they've seen so far here. Rockets have hit 5 straight shots as they have built this lead. Adams, boy, nifty feet by the big man.
This is without
16
Westbrook
point
as
Houston
well, man.
lead as we come up on the final 2 minutes before halftime. Schroeder to the rack.
They're still
And
there,
just
man.
like
They're
that,
still got the
Fort to shoot, lets her rip.
ability to come back.
A little bit too much. Covington trying to tap it. It's Paul.
Look at the
Here he
speed, man.
comes down
He's
the
just so
paint,
quick.
taking flight, and here comes Oklahoma City. And so far, a good start here after a quiet start for Gallinari. 14-5 run until that Jeff Green triple.
Best lineup. And they've cut it
Harden,
to
man.
13.
James
Thunder
Harden.
out of fouls. Harden goes
He
right
is-
around Schroeder, and he's headed to the free
I know a
throw
lot of people
line.
don't like him, but from what I've seen, man, he's one of my
And a
most enjoyable
rebound
players to
pulled weak
watch.
side by Danilo Gallinari. So Stan, here we go. How does Billy Donovan get his team back into this one? Is Adams, boy, that'll help. But
I like how he's got like, the dark arts of the sport unlocked, like the things people don't like. He's just sort of, he does it and it makes
which
him
allowed him
more
to
efficient
drive.
in
You
certain
had to come and
areas.
help, and you set up the three.
Oklahoma City's offense back in gear. Here comes Harden. Gets his defender on his heels again. It was his first points in the second half. So he'll get a much-deserved breather here.
He cannot deal with him.
Quick trigger three, and here comes Houston.
Have
He's going in.
opportunities to back cut for layups.
Here's Ferguson. That's a triple. Thunder desperately
Right
need
at the
more
other
of that.
end.
House beats him back. Right hand. Made about the relationship between Harden and
OKC
Paul.
score
And all
and
the reports about
and
how
the Rockets
things
just got
became
the other
strained
end.
towards the end as
Score again,
Nerlens
man.
Noel
It's a hard
rolling
game
to the
for them.
cup.
They seem like they're on
Houston's
real
bench
good
tonight
form
stand
today,
shooting
or this game.
79% from the field.
Especially Harden. My
Harden
days.
got it.
He's having, like the entire Thunder team, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of 13 guys in the league.
How? I'm going to check the stats after this game. This has got to be a 30 to 40 plus game from him.
Who scores 10 points a game or more on drive, shell drill, where
He's
the ball
just
just moves
going
around
in.
and no players move. That's what Oklahoma City is allowing Houston to
man.
do
Yeah.
defensively tonight.
The Rockets
I've always wondered that, Spiro.
have
So
done really
I'm
good this
shooting
game, man. I
well
was not
because I'm
expecting this
getting and making good shots.
at all.
So what I'm because you're a good shooter getting good shots. So keep working to get those good shots.
I'm not going to win this argument, so I'll give up. That's a three from Green. That they played, of course, Dennis Schroeder was gone, paternity leave after his wife gave birth to their second child. And so there was not the continuity that they'd had.
That there was that much contact. I like the way Steven Adams has played in the second half, really all night.
A little bit short as Houston stand has cooled off a little bit from three. But their lead still at 17 points. Gallo on a deep three.
Pass
That's
was
good.
naughty.
Even think of trading baskets down 14 with 7 minutes to go.
29 points for Gallinari. That was his second three of the night, but Harden.
Look, with Russell Westbrook
He's
out,
going hard
they've
right now,
gotten
man.
exactly what they needed, and that is
Three-pointer by Tucker.
20 ahead still.
Little misdirection by
They
Gilgeous-Alexander.
really had this game unlocked throughout, man.
Good ball movement. Back inside to Gilgeous-Alexander.
player movement can do to get you better shots, and we haven't seen much of that
Chris
out of the
Paul versus
Oklahoma
Harden.
City Thunder.
A
Oh,
rare chance that we saw Westbrook advantage Thunder. And then you look up and you see this score as Paul hits a rare three on a night that he has really struggled. Only his open floor. And now they'll reset. That's another three.
Setting up
starting to shoot
internships
now. Maybe
and
it's a
creating
bit too
course
late.
in the business of sports media and entertainment.
He's
Paul
coming
is
in
all
now.
about the action, progress.
Maybe
Social
again,
justice
too little,
fight
too
during
late.
this time stand in our country, and of course
20,
CP3 right at the
29, to be
forefront
fair.
of
That's
that
not actually a
group.
bad performance.
No
As
question.
Harden, pretty drive and finish
And the
for Green.
Jeff Green's pulling it all out tonight. A right to left, behind the back dribble to a finish. I mean, normally we see Jeff as a great playoff performance by this team.
Look how they're working it.
Year 12 for Green as Harden goes right down the
He's
paint,
the bits.
nearly untouched. Take one on the chin like that to begin the playoffs. Going to find a lot about that Bucks team down the stretch.
Portland's certainly going to challenge the Lakers defense. It's an outstanding defense. Portland can really score. I would give Portland more of a chance if they had someone.
They did
Ryan
win,
Anderson
didn't
and
they?
Chris Webber
Portland
will
did
have
win.
the call coming up right here
This
on
is an
TNT.
interesting one, man.
Meanwhile, a game one
The
domination.
fact that they did this without Westbrook. I mean, maybe this series will be a lot quicker than we thought. 'Cause like doing that without one of your best players, possibly your best player. I mean, that's a statement, man. Especially against OKC, who are a solid team. Like they're not a poor team. They're a good team, and they just sort of really. Like, there wasn't really any competition. Like they didn't get a huge 30, 40 point lead ever, but they didn't really come close. I think the smallest lead was 10 points. Obviously, other than this, maybe the first quarter. They never brought it close to each other. They kept a good sort of distance between the two, which is interesting, man. I was not expecting that. I was thinking the Thunder would probably start well in the series, and Westbrook coming back would be sort of the factor of them possibly winning. But maybe they're going to sort of do it pretty quick. But maybe this is just a poor performance from the Thunder, and we'll see more we'll see more in the rest of the series. Let's just see who went in this one. I mean, Harden, 37. Jeez. He had some nice threes though, man. He had some real nice threes. So 37, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Just did a bit of everything, man. Gordon with 21, 3 and 4, so he did bits as well. Green with 22. He was plus 28 on the court. He was only plus 10. I'm guessing that's maybe because of his defense as well. Maybe Green is sort of more suited to sort of help with defense. And when you see 6, to be fair, you get 11 rebounds as well. But yeah, interesting performance from them. I'd say Harden still with 37 is ridiculous. Gallinari with 29 and 3 and 3. Chris Paul with 10 rebounds, all defensive rebounds as well, 9 assists. That's intriguing that he gets that many defensive rebounds when how tall is he? He's not that tall. He's 6'1", obviously in the general scheme it's tall, but like in basketball terms that's very, very small. So the fact that he's getting 10 defensive rebounds is really interesting, man. With 9 assists and 20 points as well. So he had a decent game. I guess maybe people expected more from him from like what the commentator was saying. Steven Adams with 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 17 points. So he got involved a lot as well. Interesting one, man. Interesting. Thunder will upset Rockets because Russ ain't playing. Well, no Russ, no problem. I ain't noticing Rockets' intense help D and paint D and then moving the ball around and then looking to open threes or corner threes. That's the blueprint Rockets. Do the same thing again coming from a Kawhi fan. I swear, if the Rockets make it to the finals, half the league is dropping their centre. Because they've got a small team. If they do win the playoffs and like the NBA, the championship, maybe that'll sort of change the game. Like, because maybe that's going to be one of those sort of factors that maybe in future teams will sort of look at smaller players and not always look at the taller guys. Possibly, maybe not. But if they do win, obviously it's early to say now. With the size team that they have now, could change the sport, man. It could be one of those sort of factors that leads to a different sort of approach from teams in the future. Billy Donovan played zone against the Rockets, who have made the most threes in the league this season. Fire his ass ASAP. The way Eric Gordon moves, it reminds me of vintage D Rose. He doesn't play like him anyway, though. Mac's still going to find a way to hate Harden tomorrow. Yeah, this was an interesting matchup, man. And what are your guys' thoughts? Do you reckon this was just a one-off, like poor performance from the Thunder, or do you reckon this is just how the series is going to go and the Rockets would just sort of storm them? But yeah, I was surprised with this. I did think it would be closer. And I thought without Westbrook they may struggle, but they're doing this without Westbrook. They're going to be a serious problem for the rest of the league, man, because they look good. And the threes that they're shooting in this were like they seemed really just like sort of brutal. Like every sort of attack or offense they had, they were just like, oh yeah, we're going to score this. And yeah, that's a scary thing to match up against. But hopefully you guys enjoy this reaction. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.